Well, welcome back everyone to another episode of Yoda's Hut. Today's match features myself, Bill. I'm on the right. I go by Yoda Man on the boards against my buddy Jerry, who is on the left. I am playing a Scum Sith deck in this matchup, and Jerry is playing a new deck that he built with Smugglers. And this game actually took place on Saturday, April 2nd, so a little bit more recent than some of the other videos. So it looks like I've actually started with Spice Trade, Emperor's Web, and Merciless Plans. And Jerry has started with Daring Escape, Asteroid Sanctuary, and Along the Gamma Run. So I'm going to play a Sith Library to start with for one, and then a Royal Guard for two. Just starting to get a board out. Still have a couple resources open. It looks like I'm going to play an Imperial Shadow Guard for two. And at this point, I'm going to wait and see if Jerry has any action since he's playing Smugglers over there. There's always a chance maybe he has a Swindled or something like that. And going to the Force phase, I'm going to see if he decides if he wants to trigger along the Gamma Run or not. Looks like he's choosing not to, and I'm going to commit the Royal Guard and take the Force back. So turn passes to Jerry here. It's got an interesting deck with Gamma, Asteroid Sanctuary, Daring Escape. So it looks like he's trying to run some kind of smuggler vehicles. And there he plays a holding all the cards. So he has dashes set in there too. I guess he was hoping to draw against all odds at the start, but happened to not be able to do that. So he's not going to get any extra bonuses. Looks like he's going to play a Cloud City Guest Quarters. It's a 2-cost, 2-resource there, neutral. So he still actually has 5 resources open at this point. The affiliation card, 2 on Daring Escape, and 2 on Cloud City Guest Quarters there. So he could potentially play a Millennium Falcon or maybe just something else that costs 4. And he's probably trying to decide what to do, it looks like here. He's got some options based on the cards in his hand. Just to kind of quickly go over my objectives. So I've got the Spice Trade, which actually is the new elite objective for Scum. It's a limit 1. It generates 2 resources and it's elite, so it refreshes itself. It also has the passive ability that if it's leaves play, then it actually does not go to your opponent's victory pile. So it's a target there with only 2 health, but it doesn't really help them towards their win condition. Emperor's Web, which reduces the cost of the first Sith event you play each turn by 1. And Merciless Plans, which actually sets the balance of the Force to the dark side when a mission either enters or leaves play. So this deck I built is one I've actually mentioned on Card Game DB before, I think, that I was trying to find a deck to make use of Merciless Plans and Dark Genocide with lots of cheap blast. So the deck actually includes Spice Trade, 2 of Masterful Manipulation Zezor sets between the Spiders and the Headhunters got some cheap blast. Mara, buy 2 for targeted strike. Palpatine, of course. 2 of the Dark Genocide Merciless Plans objective because you want to try to get it out. And 1 Council of the Sith. So it does have 1 twist in there and way to get some cards with you happen to flip Council or Dark Precog. Daring Escape on Jerry's side is just a basically vanilla 2 resources, 5 health. Asteroid Sanctuary, you get to draw a card if you win an edge battle. And it looks like he's actually playing a Falcon. It actually looks like the newest Falcon from that bucket of bolts. So that one has a lot of the same stats. It's got 2 black guns, 2 black blasts, 1 white gun. It has 3 health. It also is elite, unlike the original Falcon. It doesn't bounce back and forth to your hand, though. So what you can do is remove it from an engagement if you want to once per turn. So Jerry's going to use Gamma. He flipped a 1, and he's going to be able to commit Falcon and take the Force back. So the dial just goes to 2 on my turn here. And hopefully I can get some kind of board presence. It looks like I got another Sith library. Resources are always good. And with Spice Ray, I actually could play a Palpatine if I happen to have one. I'd actually just played an expendable scout, and there comes the Emperor himself. Good old Palpy hitting the board for 6. Thanks to Spice Trade still being on the board. And I've got a pretty good board presence right now. Palpatine is definitely something that's going to be hard for the light side to deal with here unless you've got unblockables, especially with all those protectors out. So it looks like I'm moving to conflict, and I think I'm going to swing and try to get some cheap damage in with the expendable scout on something. So it looks like I'm attacking along the gamma run. And so if I was Jerry, I probably actually let this go because if I defend, yeah, I might get to kill the expendable scout, but then Palpatine could really focus that Falcon down. So it looks like we're going for an edge battle here. Of course, if Jerry actually has a heat, he could kill the expendable scout and then move back out without actually having to uh, focus Falcon. Um, Neither one of us put anything to edge. It looks like he drew a card with Asteroid Sanctuary, and now I guess he has to decide: does he want to back out and keep Falcon from getting focused, or shoot the expendable scout? It looks like he took the bait and shot my expendable scout, and I got to think at this point, yep, I'm going to send Palpatine in, put a bunch of tactics on that Falcon, and kind of keep it locked down for the foreseeable future. So it looks like I'm attacking Asteroid Sanctuary. So with Palpatine, I'll get to put 3 focus tokens on Falcon. I'll do 2 plus the 1 unopposed to Asteroid Sanctuary. And now going to the Force phase, I guess I'll see if Jerry wants to trigger along the Gamma run to flip up a card and help it contribute to the Force struggle on his side. Right now I've got 2 on the Force, but I could get 3. He actually flipped a 1. That looks like a well paid, so he won't have anything to make vehicles cheaper. I'm going to keep the Force, actually commit Palpatine there. It's probably just because I know Athmera is set in this deck, so I might want to have Palpatine committed in case I could potentially draw a Rage and free him up. So Jerry's going to be in a bit of a bind here on this turn because I locked his Falcon down, and he actually kind of used a lot of resources after playing that Cloud City Guest Quarters on his first turn. He had to double up on Daring Escape and Cloud City Guest Quarters. So now he only has 3 resources to even try to play with. So I've still got the Royal Guard and the Shadow Guard to defend with. Palpatine's out, so as long as he doesn't have something to get a couple more focus on Palpatine, I should be able to have Palpatine free for the offense next turn, or if I need to hold him back and defend with him 2 turns from now for against Jerry. So I think Jerry probably doesn't have quite a lot of options here. It looks like he actually might have discarded something there. I think to get back to his reserve value after he used Gamma. And he's going to spend 3, and that looks like the Tidarium. So the Tidarium is one of the newer smuggler vehicle sets that it comes in. It is cost 3. It only has 2 health. It does come with 2 white tactics, and it gets an edge bonus based on how many defenders your opponent uses. So looks like I'm going to actually defend with just the Shadow Guard. So if I win the edge battle, I could potentially kill Tidarium with his 2 guns. And Jerry will actually get edge 1 here. So it looks like we both put 1 card in towards the edge battle. And I guess he's thinking about if he wants to put a 2nd card in. Both in the past, I actually threw my other Palpatine, and it looks like he threw a Falcon in. And I'm going to win the edge battle 5-4. And I'm going to double focus, actually single focus the guard, not double focus it, and kill Tidarium. Now, when Tidarium leaves play, it actually decreases the Death Star dial by 1, so the dial has gone back to 1 thanks to Tidarium getting killed. So I'm really not in much better shot than I was after my first turn here as far as the dial goes, but unless he has a good Gamma flip, he actually is choosing not to flip Gamma. I'm going to keep the Force of Dial, go to 3. And I'm going to have quite a few resources there open thanks to Spice Trade still being around. Looks like I actually have 7 resources. I'm going to draw back up. I think I see just drew a rage, or actually two rages. And with Emperor's Web out, the rage would actually only cost one the first time I'd use it. And looks like I'm actually going to play Mara. Mara is always a good unit to hit the board. Looks like I'm going to do, yep, keep a Sith resource open and actually put Mara's lightsaber on Mara. So now Mara's got all her nice bonuses, and I'm going to play an energy spider for one. So as I mentioned before, the whole goal of this deck is to get a lot of cheap blast out and hopefully blow up Dark Genocide. Now, even though Dark Genocide's not on the board, I should be able to take out an objective if I want. So I got to think about what the best option here is. I probably could kill Falcon, but then I run the risk if he's got another Falcon, he could just put it into play. I got to think I actually might not want to use targeted strike with Mara. And it looks like I'm going to engage something with Palpatine and the Energy Spider, probably along the Gamma Run. Get that off the board so Jerry doesn't have a chance to keep trying to get extra cards for the Force Struggle. So I am going to focus the Energy Spider, do 2 damage to the objective. Double focus Palpatine since he's committed. Drop 3 more tactics on that Falcon, 2 on Gamma, and the unopposed will destroy it. So that should actually move the dial to 4. Now the spider is going to be out of commission. One of the spiders are cheap blast, but once you use them, they actually don't refresh. So you have to have some kind of trick to actually get them off of being focused. Looks like I'm going to just swing with the Shadow Guard for a cheap blast damage on Daring Escape. Leave myself with Mara and the Royal Guard to defend with. And I'm not sure if I'm going to bother to commit anything because Mara is considered committed. Maybe I should have committed the spider because then I saw those rages. I could have raged on the spider to free it up. That's a trick you could use. It looks like Jerry actually flipped up the Smuggler's Gambit. That's one of those Smuggler's card that was sort of a set built into the Rogue Squadron cycle that really had nothing to do with pilots. It does have a couple neat tricks there that Platt lets you look at cards, and there's evading authority is something that can cause your opponent to discard cards, and if they discard things of a card type you name, you can even draw more cards. So it's got that cheap chud that contributes force icons to the force based on how many cards your opponent has in hand, even though he has 1 health. That's probably not quite as good against Sith. And a couple other things that I actually can't remember right now because I don't usually use that set. So Jerry is obviously just trying something a little wacky here. So he does have resources open now. Daring Escape and Cloud City Escorts are both free, so he's got potentially 7 resources to play. I've got Mara and the Royal Guard out to defend. Mara with her lightsaber at least has 2 guns, and she's got the shield, which can always help. And those Royal Guard being out and the Shadow Guard being out helps certainly protect damage. You can kind of chain the protects to move it from the guard to the Shadow Guard and so on as long as your Royal Guard is committed. So it looks like Jerry's going to play 4 right now for Talon Card. So Card's a pretty good unit because he's got 2 black tactics and the ability to take a focus token off things when he clears. Looks like Jerry's playing Hiding Among the Enemies. That's the shielding card from the Tidarium set. Lets you put a shield on a smuggler vehicle and then discard one of your opponent's cards. So I am down to 2 cards in hand against good old Talon Card there with the dial at 4. So my deck seems to be holding up pretty well, even though my ultimate goal of having Dark Genocide on the board has not happened, but that's okay. One of the bad things about missions is you can't guarantee you'll get them out, so you definitely better have a plan B with them. Looks like he is going to attack with Talon Card against Emperor's Web. And Mara is going to defend here. So Jerry's got a lot of cards. I just had 2 to potentially throw an edge. And he's put 2, and I just put 1 in so far. God, I think I'm probably holding on to a rage. Don't necessarily want to discard that. All right, so he's put 3 cards in action. Oh, I did edge a rage, but he's got 4 with a target of opportunity, so he does 1 damage to the objective. He's going to attempt to shoot Mara from 1. Since she's committed, I'm going to protect it to the Shadow Guard. And now he's got 2 tactics, so he's got a few options here. He could focus Palpatine down, and I'm going to shoot card for 2 with Mara. She has only got 2 guns since I lost Edge. He doesn't have Gamma out, so basically there's nothing he can do to keep me from keeping balance on my turn. So it's probably a matter of if he wants card to take damage or if he wants to try to free up or lock down Palpatine. It looks like he's actually going to double focus Mirror, so I had to use one of the shields to clear it off. And passes his turn to me. So the dial will go to 6. I think at this point, if I remember right, Jerry actually had to get up and go grab something real quick while we were playing. So there might be a minute or so pause on my part here. So I cleared things up. I actually took the focus token off the energy spider, which I shouldn't have done. Hopefully either I'll catch it or Jerry will catch it at some point that the spider is supposed to stay focused. I kept my 1 card and I'm drawing back up to my reserve value here. Try to see what's in there. Let's see another Sith library. A little hard to tell what might be in my hand. Just kind of looks like I'm just probably trying to bide my time, try to see if I drew enough blast to potentially blow up all 3 objectives. I did realize the spider was supposed to still be focused. That's good. Always good to be on the up and up in this game. There's sleight of hand there, so just a mistake on my part that I caught when I first refreshed at a habit, and then you got to remember the spider doesn't refresh unless you've got the way to do it. So I certainly could take out at least 1 more objective with either Mara or Palpatine. Mara is probably the logical choice to use. If I want to shoot in at Asteroid Sanctuary, I could just take out Talon Card with 3 guns. Then, without more blast, I can't really do an awful lot. Could get that rage back at least from that I put in the edge battle there, and I could strike again with Palpatine and Mara, take something out, but that would only get it to 11. So unless I've got some more blast in there or a way to free up that energy spider like a Spice Blitz, I don't think I could actually win this turn. So I'm just sort of stuck here, probably just trying to maybe take something out just to keep the pressure on Jerry and then sit back with other things on defense just to hope he doesn't start getting things out. Now, the one bad thing about Spice Trade still being out on Jerry's end is he can't even potentially blow up 3 objectives on his turn that would count towards his win condition because Spice Trade wouldn't count. So dropped another Sith library in. Palpatine and Mara have obviously been doing a lot of reading. Got 3 of those out. But resources, again, with Sith decks are always good. Probably wish I might, even though I've got the resources from Spice Trade, I kind of wish I had some other Sith resource to get a few more things out. All right, looks like the only thing I'm actually playing is that Sith library. I'm going to swing with Mara, probably at Asteroid Sanctuary. Yep, targeted strike. I will kill Talon Card, blow up Asteroid Sanctuary, and the dial will go to 7. I'm going to get an event back. I don't think I have a lot in there. I'm going to get Rage back like I kind of thought I might, so I'm going to actually play Rage now since I have balance and free up Mara. So again, I probably don't want to targeted strike Falcon and risk him dropping another Falcon in, especially if he's got the other one to play Falcon and then put a unit in after he bounces it. I could blow up another objective and choose not to use targeted strike with Mara and Palpatine. Looks like I'm just going in with Mara after daring escape, maybe just trying to get more damage so it's a little bit closer to being destroyed. And I did choose not to use targeted strike. So something that's good to keep in mind if you're a newer player is targeted strike is actually optional. You do not have to use it. You can you have to shoot something if there is a defender in the engagement. But if they have no defenders, you can choose not to use targeted strike and basically have your guns be blank. That looks like he flipped up the secret weapons objective there, which prevents any smuggler units from being targeted while it's undamaged. So I can't force lightning the Falcon, for instance, here. Not that I'd probably do that. Um, if I wanted to force lightning it or get it off the board, I could have just shot that thing with Mara the next last time. So I have to see here if there's really anything Jerry can do. He's probably unlikely to get the force back. I've already destroyed 2 objectives, so the dial would go to 9 on my turn, and then I just need to get one more damage in. And I've still got Palpatine, Mara. I've basically got everybody but the Spider left on defense. So Jerry's kind of looking over his cards, but I have a feeling he might end up actually scooping here. Yep, looks like Jerry's just going to call it a game. So my Scum Sith deck there with Bach and Merciless Plans worked pretty well, even though I didn't get the objective. Thanks for watching.